One of the drills that I do when I'm teaching people how to fly is we go to the wind tunnel. I don't know if you're familiar, there's all over the world. I was flying in one in Tel Aviv just a couple days ago. Indoor skydiving, where you blow the air up really, really fast and people can fly, right? You're actually skydiving. You're just moving the sky up as fast as you would be falling down.
Right, right.
And it feels the same. So what we do is once they look like they're stable, right? So they're not swimming all over the place. They're holding a good body position that's symmetrical in an omnidirectional way. The air sees everything, like a computer. If you're asymmetrical, you start spinning. And so once they get to the point where they're stable, we say, all right, well, let's see how resilient your stability is. And while they're flying, we push on them and poke them, and we try to, move them all around and shake them and see if they can hold their space, hold that, the up and the down and the right and left, hold
Mhm,
your position,
mhm.
so that when you're doing formation skydiving and things get wavy, with a big formation, you're able to be contributing to stability and not just going with the flow of the chaos. What a beautiful metaphor. That's what's done. And when you step into a space of being a little bit more vocal and a little bit more public, in your voicing of these ideas, yeah, you become a target.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. The low vibe tries to tear you back down. Who do you think you are? Right? That trip.
yeah.
Like, well, I
So
think I think I'm Brian, but what I'm trying to say is coming from much higher than Brian. So
yeah,
that's what helps me to keep my ego out of it, is the transcendent perspective. That this is all just service, service to love, service to the light, to uplift the vibration.
right.
And that's a lot of different things. To serve and protect, that's what I do, right? I'm trying to protect people from horrible things happening to them by giving them the information that empowers them, right? So it's not just how do you open your parachute? How do you open your second parachute if the first doesn't work? That's part of it, but metaphorically, that's building a garden. That's not different, right? When the food stores are empty because we're, in a bad state of affairs, societally speaking, it's not fear-based to grow your own vegetables. That's prudent. That's like checking your parachute or packing another one on your back.
Yeah.
And so it's all the same thing for me. So, you're at the same university, but you're taking classes with a different professor. It's still the same degree program, Ascension. That's the degree program, to ascend the vibe, your personal vibe. It's not like you can just instantly fix the whole world from where you are, but you fix you in
Right.
all the unconscious ways that everybody is like, now I'm good. I feel good. I meditated for a while. I took an Epsom salts bath. I had crystals and incense, and now I'm good. Yeah, until you stub your toe or somebody cuts you off on the highway and you find out that there's still dark places in your mind. There's still trigger programs that need forgiving, that need awareness, with no agenda other than to love whatever it is that are in terms of your vibe right now, and coax you upward towards a larger, wider, more beautiful perspective,
Hmm.
that makes meaning of your life. It's not like you're stumbling around a junkyard here in this world. It may appear that way from a certain perspective, but every time you experience something, whether it's high or low in terms of the emotional vibration, it's exactly what you needed to learn to move to the next step. It's alchemizing us into an evolution that is relevant, right? I mean, there's lots of wisdom that we could be learning. It's so much that you could be overwhelmed and stall out in the areas that you actually need to be focusing on, the ones that are right here right now for your life, things that are holding you back. Go easy. It applies to everything, and take the station that is a little higher than whatever you got going on, whatever your perspective or your mindset on any topic. There's always a way to rise up out of that battleground and up into a space where you make sense of it. And you might make sense of it in terms of saying, wow, I don't want any of that anymore. I want to just go completely, reverse the polarity, as it were. And sometimes I notice that it's just I was wearing it wrong. I was thinking about it wrong. I'm still going to be doing that role. I'm still going to be doing that job, but I'm just going to turn the hat the other way, so to speak, within the role and find a way to do it with ease and flow without the drama of complaining about my life, kvetching and that this is hard and oh God, it's so much work. That doesn't serve. You got to choose your life. You got to choose the burden as a celebration of your path.
Let's say you work at McDonald's or
Yep.
something. Doesn't mean you have to go fly to Hawaii and be a beach.
Not necessarily, not necessarily. You can flip those burgers knowing the value of your job, knowing that if you don't do your job well and cook that hamburger, somebody's going to get sick.
Yeah,
And then you can step that up even higher to bless the food that you're cooking for people,
right.
to be thankful that there is this flow of food energy going into the people so that they're not hungry. That's beautiful. That's, being the mama feeding the kids. That's beautiful. You just have to rise up out of the old belief that, oh, I hate this job, and it's, complaining about the whole thing. That thought system is available, but it just doesn't help. It just doesn't get you up out of bed in the morning with a spring in your step. In this 3D environment where time is limited, there's only 24 hours in a day, you can help the ones that can be helped or use up a lot of your time and energy and require a whole lot of, ritual cleansing after an interaction with somebody who's literally trying to bring you down, trying to bring you back into the battleground because that's where they're comfortable, trying to
Mhm.
make you wrong. I don't need to change everybody. Nobody needs to change anyone else but themselves. And I had my pattern of thought was not elaborate enough to take into account the darkness that's actually in this world. The people that are traumatized so deeply, so early in their life, that they're kind of like the abused dog that you get from the pound, and you can love them all you want, but they're still going to bite you.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people like that in this world. And so learning how to create your own safety by, you know, not trying to hug a crocodile is one of the lessons that I've been learning about this world. And how to not feel bad when you decide to just not give up on somebody, but to stop putting your energy in that direction because it could be much better used in all these people that are actually on the fence wanting somebody to coax them off onto the right side of things, so to speak, the uplifting perspective. But the ones that are firmly planted on the other side of the fence and you're trying to coax them up into the gray area,
Mhm.
good luck with that. You know, I have spent, some would even maybe say wasted, many hours of my life trying to convince and coerce somebody into a loving perspective when they just didn't want to go there. You got to step back and go, wait a minute, I'm trying to milk a lizard. It doesn't
Right,
work. And
right.
it's not like they are genetically that. It's not like they are limited to that as a soul, but they choose it, right? They choose the narrow and unloving perspective that they were brought up in and created for themselves as a storyline in response to their stressors in life. They took the bounce in the other direction. Some people live a suffering life and they become Gandhi. Other people live a hard life and they become miserable criminals in some form or another, abusers of others, where they're paying forward the pain. And so it's very easy if you're somebody that's like trying to live like, a truly love-based being, your tenderness to that other crowd, to those other people, is called weakness. From their perspective, they don't
Right.
value it. They don't hold it on high. They just see it as an opportunity for them to get more control over the relationship, over the conversation, over the business relationship. They abuse it. And so this is where, the kind have to step a little bit up out of innocence and choose to be a little bit more wary and recognize that, yes, you're landing your parachute in a minefield. Yep, that's this world. It is. It's not without its risks. But if you're smart about it, you'll pick your battles well. I mean, it's another application of grace. It's love of self as inclusive, right? If you love the world, if you finally have that realization, and I think everybody does in moments where you really rise up above the battleground and you love it all, everyone, everything. It's you're gonna fall because you're gonna run into the realities of this world where you realize not everybody is on board with that. Some of them are, deliberately trying to be destructive. Others are just, they're walking with the dark cloud that's raining on them wherever they go. And it's just kind of their trip is creating more of their trip. And they don't believe they can shift that. I guess the real work continues to be noticing within your own mind the belief systems that you've incorporated from them, right? They say, he who lay down with dog, get up with flea. And so, all of our relationships, especially when we open our heart to somebody, really, really open and spend lots of time with them and get into a flow of conversation where you're sort of meeting them where they are. And some of them, you're both meeting in a higher ground. Others, you're lowering your vibe just to connect, to talk about what the narcissist wants to talk about, which is obviously themselves. Right? There's lots of people that are still on that early stage of human development where they're getting to know themselves. So they talk about themselves to understand and clarify. And it's not wrong. It's just a primary stage of development. And when you realize that, gosh, you're in the stage where you're the listener and the nurturer of a conversation, and they're just always playing the role of talking about them, you go, wow, this isn't loving to me, because I have stories too. I have areas that I need love from outside too.
Right.
The sad part of me, everybody's got a crying child inside of us. This world is hard. It hurts. We fall from grace and we find ourselves embattled, raging against something that we see in the world. And it's definitely people behaving poorly, whatever that is, it's real. And yet we use as our excuse to fall from that grace place. That's the beauty of this place, I think, is that it's designed to bring us down so that we can bring ourselves back up. And that's the joy. That's the relief. That's the scratching of the itch that we go, oh, that's what I needed. But without the mosquito to bite us, there would be no euphoric scratching experience. Schoolroom Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we chose to be here, and it's working. I mean, I understand the growth rate is a varied curve, from individual to individual,
Yes.
in cultural collectives as well. There's different growth curves. Some of them have a pretty steep curve where it's happening really fast, and they're exchanging information really, on a high level. In others, it's been slower, but it's all moving up. Yeah, I'm trying to, I've always asked the universe to give me more, give me more opportunities to be who I am, in a more powerful way to affect this planet more significantly. I keep asking for that, and I keep getting it.
Use your toggles, brakes to go back, and then surge down. Hands up, hands up. Dive down, yeah, there you go. You can even use your fronts if you want to. Good.
Hey!
Ain't that cool, right?
Coming a little closer to you.
Yeah. Just getting used to it, right? Cool. All right, so now we're going to do a 90-degree right turn. I'm going to back up a little here.
Okay.
All right. And now right turn 90 degrees. Keep going.
90 degrees right.
Go, go, go. Slow. Yeah, no rush. Cool. Nice. And now we're going to do a 90-degree left turn. We're going to switch slots. So I'm going to back it up here a little bit.
90-degree left turn, switch spots.
And go. Left turn, go. Nice.
That's so smooth.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. All right, this time we're going to do a 180. We're going to do it to the right side.
Veer to the right.
180 right.
180 right.
And go, right turn. Go, go, go. Turn that parachute. Nice. Good job, Roxanne. Nice. Good. Nice job. All right. Cool. Good. Just kind of get to my side. You learn a lot when you got a reference.
Say that again?
You learn a lot when you have a reference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just fly and inform me. All right, cool. Good work. Good work. Okay, I'm gonna go below you now.
Bye.
You can ride the brake. See you, man. Nice job. Super nice. Super nice. Let's go get that target.
Yes, sir.
And as you rise above the field lines in his ground, you'll down, hear the sound of the faces in the crowd.
Dun, 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 dun. Just stay off to the side of him, don't worry about the target. Don't go right behind where he was. Slide to the end. Move forward, slide to the end, all the way. Nice! Woo!